Ladies and gentlemen, in today's world, everyone is available. A single phone call, a text message, or just a click away. But the real question is, are we truly valuable or are we just available? Because listen carefully, being available is easy, but being valuable is rare. And in life, people don't remember who was always there. They remember who made a difference when they were there. Think about it. When your phone keeps buzzing with notifications, is it valuable? No, it's just noisy. But when someone gives you the right advice at the right time, when someone stands by you in a moment of crisis, that's valuable. Today, I want to take you on a journey where we will learn how to move from being just present to being truly impactful in the lives of others. When we talk about quality over quantity of presence, it may sound like a simple phrase, but it carries a deep truth about human relationships. Many times in life, we assume that being around someone all the time automatically makes us valuable to them. We think if I am available 24/7, if I'm always by their side, that must mean I'm valuable. But my friends, that's not always the case. Just being available doesn't guarantee you're making a meaningful difference. What people truly remember is not how often you were there, but how much you mattered when you were there. Let me give you an example. Imagine a person sitting in a hospital room next to a patient. They're there the whole day scrolling on their phone, watching videos, occasionally looking up and asking, "Are you okay?" Now compare that with another person who comes for just 30 minutes, sits down, holds the patient's hand, listens with full attention, offers encouraging words, and maybe even says a prayer. Tell me, who will the patient remember more? The one who was present for hours but distracted, or the one who was present for minutes but wholeheartedly? This is the difference between being just available and being valuable. It's not about the number of hours you give, it's about the depth of heart you bring. We sometimes mistake proximity for impact, but proximity without presence is emptiness. You could be sitting next to someone all day and still not connect with them. On the other hand, a single heartfelt conversation can transform someone's life forever. Think about the sun. It doesn't shine on one place for 24 hours. It rises, shines brightly, gives energy, gives life, and then sets. Its presence is limited in hours, but its quality is unmatched. Without the sun, life wouldn't even exist. Similarly, your presence should be like the sun. When you are there, shine so brightly with your attention, your empathy, and your contribution that people feel the warmth of your value. Let's be honest, how many of us have people in our lives who are always available, but when we really need them, their availability feels empty? And how many of us know someone who may not always be there physically, but whenever they do show up, they change the atmosphere, uplift us, guide us, and leave us feeling stronger? We remember them because their presence was valuable. So the next time you are with someone, whether it's a friend, a colleague, a partner, or even a stranger, don't ask, "How long can I be here?" Ask yourself instead, "What difference can I make while I am here?" Because at the end of the day, people won't count the minutes of your presence. They will cherish the moments of your value. We often measure life in terms of what we get. We look at how much we've received, how much we've earned, how much we've collected. But if you really want to be valuable, the true measure is not how much you took, it's how much you contributed. People don't respect those who are always asking, "What's in it for me?" They respect those who show up with the mindset of, "What can I give here? How can I make this moment better for someone else?" Think of a workplace. There are always two kinds of people. One comes into the office, clocks in, does the bare minimum, complains about how much work they have and leaves. They are available, they exist in the space. But then there is another person who steps into the same office and says, "How can I help the team succeed? How can I make this project smoother? How can I encourage others?" That person may not be the loudest or the smartest, but because they contribute, they become valuable. People notice, leaders trust them, colleagues respect them. Even in friendships and relationships, contribution is what keeps bonds alive. If two friends meet and both are just waiting to talk about their own problems, the conversation becomes heavy and tiring. But when one says, "Let me listen to you, let me share something that might help," they're not just present, they are adding value. And that's the friend you call in the middle of the night, not the one who is only available on weekends when it's convenient. A small story comes to mind. There was a teacher who once asked his students to bring a candle to class. Each student brought one. The teacher lit them all and said, "Look at these candles. They are burning, giving light, and slowly melting away. Now tell me, what's the value of the candle? Is it in how long it sits on the shelf, or in how much light it gives when it's burning?" The class went silent. The lesson was simple: value comes from contribution. A candle is not remembered for being available in the drawer. It's remembered for the light it gave when darkness filled the room. Contribution doesn't always mean money or material things. Sometimes it's as simple as giving your time to listen, sharing your skills to teach, or even offering a smile to lift someone's spirit. We often underestimate how valuable these small contributions are. For someone going through pain, your kind word could be more valuable than any expensive gift. And here's something important. Contribution creates value not only in the lives of others, but also in your own. The more you give, the more fulfilled you feel. The paradox of life is this: when you give selflessly, you never actually lose. You gain respect, love, trust, and inner satisfaction that no amount of availability can provide. So instead of asking, "Was I there?" start asking, "What did I bring?" Because being available is like filling a chair in the room. Being valuable is like filling the room with energy, ideas, compassion, or solutions. Chairs are replaceable, but someone who makes a difference, that person is unforgettable. There is a big difference between people who walk into a room and make things lighter, and those who walk into the same room and make things heavier. Life is full of challenges already, and everyone is carrying some hidden burden. What people deeply value is not someone who adds to that burden, but someone who helps to ease it. That is why being a problem solver rather than a problem creator makes you truly valuable. We've all met people who only see problems. You tell them an idea and immediately they'll say, "That won't work. It's too hard. What if this goes wrong?" Their minds are wired to point out obstacles, but rarely to think of solutions. In their presence, hope decreases, energy drains. And after a while, you avoid sharing things with them because you know they'll only leave you feeling heavier than before. Now compare that with someone who listens to your idea and says, "Yes, there are challenges, but what if we try this? Have you considered this option? Let's see how we can make it work." Notice the difference. The first person leaves you stuck. The second person lifts you forward. The first is available. The second is valuable. Let me share a simple example. Imagine your car breaks down on the road. One friend arrives and says, "Oh no, this is terrible. Cars these days are so unreliable. You should have checked it before leaving. This is going to be expensive." Now, another friend arrives, looks at the same situation, and says, "Don't worry. Let's push it to the side. Maybe I can call a mechanic. I know. I'll wait with you until help comes." Both are available, but only one is valuable. Why? Because one added to the stress while the other reduced it. Life is full of breakdowns, not just of cars, but of emotions, finances, relationships, and health. In those moments, the valuable person is the one who asks, "How can I help fix this?" Not the one who says, "See, I told you this would happen." Being valuable doesn't mean you have to know all the answers. It means you show a willingness to help, a mindset that leans towards solutions. Rather than blame, think about great leaders. They are not the ones who point fingers when something goes wrong. They are the ones who step up and say, "We have a problem, but let's find a way." In history, in organizations, in families, those who solve problems become irreplaceable. And those who only complain fade into the background, no matter how available they were. There is also a personal reward in becoming a problem solver. When you train yourself to look for solutions instead of only spotting obstacles, your own life becomes lighter. Because the truth is, problems never go away, they just change shape. If your mind is trained only to see problems, you'll always feel stuck. But if your mind is trained to look for solutions, you'll always feel empowered. So the next time you're faced with a situation, pause and ask yourself, am I going to make this heavier or lighter? Am I going to add to the problem or help find a solution? People will always gravitate towards those who reduce burdens, not those who increase them. Remember, this availability may bring you into someone's life, but problem solving is what makes you stay in their life as someone they can't afford to lose. There is a reason why people say listen with your heart, not just with your ears, because listening is not the same as hearing. Hearing is biological. It happens automatically. But true listening with empathy is a choice. And this choice is what makes a person valuable. Empathy is not about giving perfect answers or offering immediate solutions or throwing in advice the moment someone shares a problem. Empathy is simply the ability to sit with another person's emotions and say without words, I understand, I feel you, you are not alone. Think about it. When was the last time you felt deeply heard? Not when someone nodded while scrolling on their phone. Not when someone interrupted with their own story. But when a person gave you their full presence, their full attention, and actually entered into your feelings. That moment was valuable, wasn't it? You may not even remember everything they said, but you definitely remember how they made you feel. Because words fade, but feelings linger. There's a beautiful truth here. People don't always come to you to be fixed. Often they come to you simply to be felt. A child runs to the mother crying. Not because the mother has a technical solution, but because the child knows she will be held comforted and understood. That comfort is empathy. It transforms pain into strength. On the other hand, think of the people who respond without empathy. Someone says, I'm struggling. And the reply is, oh, that's nothing. You should hear my problems. Or worse, don't be weak. Just get over it. Those words don't heal the wound further. That's why we remember very clearly who invalidated our feelings and who validated them. The first kind makes us never want to open up again. The second kind becomes our safe space forever. Even in leadership, empathy is a powerful tool. A boss who only looks at employees as machines to get tasks done may have people who are available out of duty, but not loyal out of love. But a boss who takes time to understand what his team is going through, who listens with compassion, who asks not just what's the update on the project, but also how are you doing today. That boss becomes valuable beyond measure. People don't leave companies. They leave managers who lack empathy. And they stay even through challenges with those who make them feel understood. Empathy doesn't mean agreeing with everything. It doesn't mean you have to feel pity or lower yourself. It simply means entering someone's world for a moment, seeing things through their eyes, and respecting their emotional reality. Sometimes the most valuable thing you can say is not, here's what you should do, but rather, I hear you. That must be really hard. I'm here for you. In those few words, you give someone the gift of dignity. And the beauty of empathy is that it multiplies. When you give it to others, they learn to give it back. Not just to you, but to others around them. It's like lighting a candle from another candle. The first candle loses nothing, but the second gains light. In the same way, when you share empathy, you don't lose energy. You create a chain of warmth and connection. So, in this world where everyone is shouting to be heard, choose to be the one who listens. In a culture obsessed with giving opinions, be the one who offers understanding. Because one empathetic listener is more valuable than 100 distracted talkers. At the end of the day, people may forget what you said or did, but they will never forget how deeply you made them feel seen, heard, and understood. So many of us are caught in the trap of thinking that the more places we show up, the more valuable we become. We say yes to every invitation, every request, every responsibility because we don't want to disappoint anyone. We want to be everywhere for everyone all the time.